Welcome back, Dota fans, and thank you for your patience. It has paid off as we're here on our final game of the day for Starladder EU coverage. I'm Zyori, joined once again by Blaze, and we've got Navi against Team Cleave. Blaze, what is the good word in our final game of the day, my friend? Apparently Blaze has no good words. Hey Blaze, sorry, I muted myself for the introduction only. What's up, man?
Not too much. How's it going?
It's going quite well. Better now that I've unmuted myself. That is the wrong overlay. Hold up, guys. We got this. There we go. Woo, we're in it. Blaze, analyze away, my friend.
Alrighty, we got Cleave versus Navi. Finally, some anti-Navi bans coming out. The Funnic Batrider, the Vanscore / Dendi, Skywrath Mage, both negated, and as their second pick, they have to ban out heroes like the Void, the Lycan, and lose out on the Razor. Nevertheless, we're going to most likely see Dendi on the Death Prophet. Havos has played it before, but I think Dendi much more frequently, and yeah, we'll see what else they want to follow through with here. A little bit of push and pull on both sides.
Yeah, the Batrider ban, like you mentioned, finally, this is the first time in Navi's, I think their fourth game, we've seen a Batrider ban, and Funnic will have to be a little more creative this game with what hero he picks or FNG picks for him. Shadow Shaman, Death Prophet, looks like Navi know what they want to do, and it's knock down some towers. Shadow Shaman and DP, not a bad way to go about it.
Yep, well, be able to synergize their ultimates pretty well. It does mean they're a little experience reliant, and maybe Cleave can try to outgame them in the early game, try to go for like the first 5 levels, just get kind of some domination across the map. But they go the opposite way. They say, okay, let's just make it so that we can have an even superior team fight after the ultimates come online, and even later into the game, just have the item advantage with a hero that can not only negate the presence of a hero entirely, but also he himself can really pack a lot when he has that full arsenal. The pretty much 6 slot in the earlier stages of the game.
The bringer of dooms, as it were, the second choice for Cleave. So pretty standard picks here, nothing too surprising. Navi have been loving that Death Prophet, though, out of the context of just loving to push down, out of the context of just an all-in push team. They've been running her as just a casual, solid mid hero with some pushing utility, and also her silence really comes in handy, which is a utility that is often overlooked by the power of the exorcism. Shadow Demon banned out by Navi with their third, and Cleave will take out the Chen of all heroes.
Yeah, it's interesting because Razor and Doom, what they bring to a lineup is generally the aspect of taking something away from the enemy. You take damage away from their hard carry, you take spells away from the highest utility hero on the opposing team, whether it's the mech carrier, whether that's the DP because of her skill set. No matter the case, it's really just trying to take pieces off the board for Navi, trying to, in every single fight, decide who they want to not do anything, and through the usage of their abilities, controlling that pretty well. But they still need to kind of stay on the front line there. They need supports that'll be right behind them. Right now, Shadow Shaman Earthshaker is a really strong combo to go up against. A lot of disable, still a lot of damage, and if they can get the mobility factor figured out, they're going to be a devastating force to be reckoned with. But nevertheless, Cleave, they have a lot of different ways they can try to go about that. And first and foremost is going to be the Rubik.
All right, they pick up Ruby Tuesday here. Not a bad choice. Plenty of big spells to steal already. And Tide is still in the pool, a potential off-lane choice for Navi that could have been pretty potent here. And with a Rubik pickup, that will probably deter their hand from the Tide if that's a route they wanted to go. And there you go. Nature's Prophet will be your Funnic hero this game.
Yeah, a lot of potential there. He loves to kind of get himself in a position where he can trade hits and try to knock down the towers, of course, when he needs to. Right now, they are just going to be absolutely destroying the tier 1s very quickly, and there's very little that Cleave can do against it. Like, the Plasma Field is some good counter push, but Fade Bolt is very cost inefficient for just actually trying to hold the towers. And yeah, it'll do in a pinch, but they need something more spammable, more consistent, and we'll see if they can come up with anything.
We certainly will. Plenty of bonus time left for Cleave, so they'll have time to think about it. Right now they have 3 individually very potent heroes, but I don't see a lot of synergy across the Team Cleave lineup here. Razor gives them a little bit of pushing, a nice lane dominator. Doom will probably be the off lane. They are Radiant, so that does mean Doom off lane is a pretty likely scenario. They just don't have a lot of wombo to go with their combo here, Blaze.
Yeah, that's where the last 2 picks come through. Pretty much they need something that'll lock the opponent in place. They have chase potential, but they don't really have a way of preventing the enemy from just hiding behind their allies, hiding underneath the tower. They need some kind of control. And Rubik is a good start there with the telekinesis, but even still, they want something that's either heavy slows or a really hard lockdown stuns. They also need to consider the fact that Shadow Shaman is very reliant on extended shackles, Death Prophet, and put in a bad spot could also be burst down pretty easily. So I'd say something that would be able to initiate on them and create some real stun factors. I'd say the Venge, but she doesn't really work well with Rubik. I'm not too sure. Maybe a Sand King.
I mean, Tide could be an option as an off lane if they want Doom to be more of a position 1 with Razor in the middle, 2 heroes that are pretty flexible in their laning phase. A Sand King is an interesting suggestion. We haven't seen him a hell of a lot recently, but I worry about him having enough space to get a Blink Dagger here. Navi will be pushing earlier rather than later, and Sand King does definitely need some room. He can either be aggressive in the lanes and zone people out, or he can keep to himself and get a fast Blink Dagger in the jungle. And both have their pros and cons. And if they can get away with it, it would be great, but risky. It will be the Fairy Dragon that they finally settle on after burning most of their reserve time.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad one. The silence is going to be huge against almost all these heroes, and trying to get in the right position to hold this is going to be imperative. They need to prevent the push, and the Illusion Orb, it's the same mana cost and about the same damage output in general as Rubik's, but he has more mana to work with because he goes for the bottle early, because he has really good int scaling. Puck should be able to hold the line in general, and it's going to be on Navi to maybe try to pick him off first and foremost. They have a lot of great disables. A Fissure can catch somebody off guard from very long range. A Silence can work fine if the DP skills it early. No matter the case, the Puck should be good here, but the laning becomes pretty flexible. We have seen offlane Puck earlier. We've, of course, seen offlane Doom, and the Razor needs a place to call home as well. So I'm not sure exactly who they're going to run in which position.
Yeah, still pretty ambiguous with this draft, and that is usually the sign of a good draft. If you don't know exactly how they're going to lane, makes it just more difficult to counterpick. To complement your suggestion, though, Sand King is the final ban from Navi, so certainly something they were considering a real threat.
10 seconds remaining.
So I guess I still want to kind of go with the push mentality. Personally, I would say, and that's plenty, that you don't need any more. But if you really want to make sure that there's no way that they're going to be able to mount a defense, then okay.
Whoa! Whoa!
I love you, FNG.
All right.
You're the best.
Dusa, not a hero you normally think about with the pushing, so this is interesting. Now, the nice thing here is you can use your pushing power to knock down some towers early, get the ball rolling from Medusa, then her time gets a lot easier. And if she gets all that bonus gold, maybe even invest in an early Midas, in that mid-game, she can actually be kind of in fighting form once she gets a couple of those core items.
10 seconds remaining.
If I can say this, I think this is almost a disrespect pick against Cleave. I think that they're like, well, we want to really practice Medusa in a competitive setting. We already have 4 incredible heroes to pretty much essentially win this game in our minds, and Medusa's just something to throw on top of that. I don't really think she brings that much to the lineup here. There's no way that they control the way people look, like with Elder Titan or with an axe. Rubik's actually pretty good against Medusa in terms of spell stealing. The Stone Gaze. I don't know. I really don't think it fits in, but it is something that they definitely want to try to improve if they want to increase their carries pool and show a little bit more diversity.
Yes, sir. Treant Protector, the final choice for Cleave. And normally, I mean, obviously, he slows down the pushing. That's part of his power. He keeps towers alive. But where Treant doesn't really thrive is against teams that can flash push towers, where they can group up and just take it down in one fell swoop. And sure, you can delay it a little bit with that living armor. Where he really shines is that chip damage, you know, when they can do half damage to a tower and then back out against a team that doesn't really have that much pushing power. That's when Tree is amazing at stopping the push. But here, there's going to be so many summons, so many individual attacks, I can't imagine that living armor will do a hell of a lot to quell the pushing of Navi.
Yeah, we'll see if they can actually pull together. I think they need some ganks behind them, because like a level 1 Treant Protector isn't going to be doing much. Even like early points of living armor, just they don't seem to be enough. So
all about that leech seed.
You can make it work, but you have to be like level 4, level 5 before you really kind of... What is going on in this chat? I don't even know. But yeah, you need to get towards level 4, level 5 so you can actually start really feeling the strength of his spells. They reworked Leech Seed a little bit, so the early ranks aren't as good. It still tops out at about the same, but it's definitely not what it used to be in terms of like just a 1 or 2 point wonder.
Yeah. We'll see. The Leech Seed boots first is still the most common way we see the tree built in competitive. And it's all about that level 1. Secure that first blood if you can find someone. But, yeah, he's really fallen out of style recently. And that is, we talked about they need some sort of a big disable, someone to lock him in place. And they have the Dream Coil now, as well as the Overgrowth, so that does give them some more teamfight potential. So he does add some value in that front. And Living Armor is also great on heroes. I'm thinking about it in the context of pushing, but it is also just very helpful in turning around ganks. And as always, you'll commit to kills, and, well, sometimes that Living Armor is there to turn things around. And you realize, oh, crap, I actually don't have the damage to cut through this little Vanguard buff here. But alas, we'll see how the lanes settle down. Navi with Havost on the position 1 Medusa, headed to the safe lane. It will be Vanscore on the Shadow Shaman, supporting away with him. Dendi will be on the Death Prophet, probably headed over to the mid lane. FNG will be on the support Shaker, and that gives us the off-lane Funnick on the Nature's Prophet. But it is a 5-hero train coming out of Cleave, and they're hungry for blood. It is indeed Boots first, Leech Seed Tree, and he is leading the charge.
Yeah, they really want to put momentum out here. They're going to block off the pull. Whether or not they go for aggro try might depend on if they can actually get a first blood or not. Otherwise, they will probably just have to go on the defensive unless they are that afraid of Havos late game Dusa. So we'll see how it plays out. Dusa's actually pretty good against tri-lanes, to be honest, because the Mystic Snake can actually hit 3 different heroes. It's extremely powerful in that regard. Rubik won't be able to close distance enough to get early ranks and telekinesis on him because just the natural movement speed. He's going to be equivalent at best. So it is going to be on the tree with that boots first to try to actually initiate him, put the real pressure out.
Yes, sir. So creeps will spawn, initial wards come down, and here we got the pole camp blocked and a nice aggressive lane ward from the Radiant side. So it looks like they will try to contest this Medusa's farm quite a bit and put some pressure on her in lane early on. Let's look at the Radiant lanes here. It will be Hakan in the safe lane playing on the Doom. In the mid, it will be Stress once again on the puck. He was on Jakiro in the match we saw from Cleave earlier today, and he got worked pretty hard by S4's puck. Now we'll see if his puck is up to snuff against the Dendi Death Prophet. Will be the aggro try. Rubik played by, I don't know how to say this gentleman's name, Suniko of Lupta. Well, whatever. We've got Rubik. Roger on the position 1 Razor, and we've got a tree here supporting them as well. Metpum.
Yeah, it's a difficult one to go into. They're looking for the Leech Seed opening, but even though the Medusa is a very low lane contribution type hero, other than the aforementioned Mystic Snake, the supports for Navi are really good at defensive play. The Shadow Shaman, the Earthshaker, you overstep, you try to commit too hard to a kill, and they are going to punish you pretty hard. They only have 1 stun for Shackle, so if Vanskar has enough HP to go for a full duration channel, he can just take somebody out of the picture, and of course, the Earthshaker does have a lot that he can contribute with the Fisher. The one thing that they are lacking, however, is sustainability. Right now, as far as regen goes, they've only brought a single set of Tangos individually, no salves between them, and I think Cleave were better equipped for this aggressive stance.
Yeah, and I want to comment on the opening build from Havost. He actually went stats level 1. No Mystic Snake. Sometimes... Well, there's a lot of different builds you can take with the Medusa, and we've seen them all over the place. Speak of the devil, Medusa, telekinesed back. Roger comes in with the static link, and, well, that's a pretty easy first blood right there. Havost takes a tumble, and it is Treant that finds the bonus gold.
Yeah, that Fisher had to do so much more to actually bail him out of that. So, unfortunately, yeah, they just overstepped their bounds. Like you said, Boots, the stats first, he really doesn't contribute much, and he is just going to go ahead and head down bottom. Like, he's like, okay, well, I can do literally nothing in that configuration, so...
Yeah, he'll come down, and we'll see what happens with Funnick here. I guess he'll rotate into the jungle, maybe babysit him a little bit. Doom is already farming okay, picked up a Stout Shield, and is found halfway through level 2 with a few CS under his belt. Funnick having a pretty good time already, and now this leaves the top lane in shambles. I mean, who's here to farm? It's Vanscore on the Shadow Shaman and FNG on the Earthshaker. In a 2v3, neither of them will really be able to grab last hits. Maybe they can leech some experience. But with the pole camp warded, they won't be able to grab lane control too easily. They will counter it, and this is a step in the right direction, but still the equilibrium is way in favor of Cleave right now. Blaze, are you still alive? Oh, my Skype crashed. How unfortunate. Okay, guys, sorry about that. Having some tech issues here. Let's get our Skype call back in the mix. Hopefully we don't miss anything too crazy while we're doing that. That's weird. Come on, Skype. You got to do better than that. Come on, Microsoft. I know you got the skills to pay the bills. Come on, come on.
Illusion.
Hello, Blaze.
Hello.
Hi, I think that was me. My Skype went all unresponsive on me. Sorry about that, friend.
Not a problem. I know how delicate that piece of software can be. But
Oh, yeah.
fortunately, we didn't really miss too much.
Yes, indeed. We had a small stroke of luck there. There is a rotation towards the mid lane, but it gets scouted out by the treant. Oh, Funnick, you master of disaster. He doesn't scout out the tree. Well, yeah, now he does. So Dendi will be safe, as he knows there was a potential gank coming. Funnick has now just moved into the Radiant jungle and given some space to Olhavos to get some farm against Doom. And he's finding just that. Now 7 CS under his belt. Medusa making steps in the right direction. Has opted to go into Mystic Stake now. And at level 3 will put 2 points in it following that opener in stats.
Yeah, pretty interesting to say, okay, Vanscore, you head up there and take a couple CS. Precarious positioning for him, but when he can actually get a little bit there, it'll move in towards maybe some mobility items, at least the early boots, and then obviously farm could help him towards something like a Blink Dagger. But in the meantime, Havost, he picks up boots himself, and it's all about maneuvering against the Doom and thwarting enemy ganks forthcoming. So right now he's at level 3 versus level 5 and has to keep his distance, but at the very least he is finding some last hits. He's now got a dozen.
Yeah. So what is the go-to build for Medusa? I think Hand of Midas is a possibility here. Of course, she is one of the best late-game heroes. Getting there is the problem. And one of few heroes as well that really benefits from all 3 stats, complements of that mana shield. So with that said, what are we looking at here? Like early Manta, Scotty, that kind of stuff?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I don't know about the Midas because it doesn't really help her to be squishier for longer, and the attack speed isn't really a factor when she gets so much agi. But the main reason I say that in this game is because they're going to presumably have a lot of tower kills behind them. You see some action. The telekinesis will hit on Dendi.
Oh, Dendi's in big trouble here. He'll take a Waning Rift, just barely able to survive for now. A stray auto attack from Puck will bring him down. It's a close call, but Stress comes out ahead. Living Armor helping to pick him up. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Roger dives the Shadow Shaman, and he finds a free kill there. Navi in some trouble. Cleave actually have a gold and experience lead, and now all 3 of their cores have taken a tumble. Well, 2 of their cores. I guess Funnick is really their 3rd core as he's moved into the jungle. But Razor picking up a lot of momentum, and now Puck finding some momentum as well. A much-needed kill.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that they're struggling in the lanes department, but that's just it. Like, they don't even have a lanes that are dedicated in any real sense. They're going to go for some damage onto Hakan here, and it looks like he is going to survive. The Living Armor, the Scorch Earth is just too much.
Yeah, nice rotation from Funnick. If he was level 6, had a little more mana, that Wrath of Nature could have been what they needed to secure that kill. And actually a rotation down from FNG. He'll find Hakan, connects with the Fissure, but the Earthshaker just doesn't punch hard enough, and now he needs to be careful. Funnick will TP in. He gets telekinesed, and the tree rejoining the party as well. Living Armor not up for another 12 seconds. Leech Seed onto FNG. Now we'll see where the Doom's going. Vanscore comes down. That's an Ether Shock to bring him down. Tree will survive, so will FNG, and it ends as just a 1-for-0 trade. The Doom finally gets taken out, and Navi actually have to put a lot of resources into that. It was a 4-hero rotation. Dendi the only one not joining the party to secure the kill.
Yeah. Roger picks up a TP, but I kind of feel like he just turned this Basilius on and start pushing the top lane. There's nobody here for him to deal with. He's getting complete free farm, but if you could actually bring the tower down, that would help his team very substantially. We do see a little bit of pursuit. Now, bottle charges coming from Dendi to set FNG up for the stun, but will it be enough for the kill?
Yeah, unfortunately, for Navi, Rubik ends on the other side of the fissure, and he'll be able to just walk away to safety. Had he been on the other side, big potential for a kill right there. But will end is 3-1 as Navi still trailing in a couple of hero kills. We'll just go back to farming. Havos now really catching up in last hits. He is number 2, tangoing with the top, just a couple behind that of the Razor. So speaking to how much recovery farm he's found down here in the bottom lane. Picked up a value point in Mana Shield, 3 points in the Mystic Snake, and now actually grabs Stone Gaze at level 6. So completely switching up from that stats at level 1. An odd skill trajectory from Havost, but we'll see how it works for him.
The Serpents are really powerful, to be honest. It's a very underrated skill, and you can use it to harass enemies very effectively, and sometimes without any cost to yourself if you get 2 major mana targets. But the problem he's running right now is he doesn't really have enough for the full combo. Like, he has the Mystic Snake, and he has the Stone Gaze for his current mana pool, but if he takes even a couple of auto attacks of damage, he won't have it. Vanscore going to hit by the Doom, but there is no lockdown, but the damage should be sufficient as Puck joins the fray. Deny from Dendi, very nicely timed.
Yes, exactly right. So that's a Doom ultimate, not quite wasted, but Dendi does limit the income they get from it with the denial. Very nicely played. That will make it 4-1 as Cleave still finds some momentum. But you're right about Havost, and you see a lot of players actually skip Mana Shield altogether early on and put those extra points in stats because you, as you pointed out, you simply just don't have the mana pool till you start getting those core items, those ultimate orbs, as it were, your Lincolns, your Manta, what have you. The Fissure from FNG will actually be off the mark. The Snake comes flying through, and, well, they will find a kill on Rubik, but that'll be the end of it. 2 kills coming out here. The Treant gets picked off, as well as the Rubik.
Yeah, unfortunately, they don't have a stun for Funix, so he's going to be able to TP out of there. Roger made his rotation, but he really didn't accomplish too much up top. He got 49 CS, and that's all he can say. When he had a good period of time where he could have been pushing the tower, could have been making something happen, but instead he comes back here with just a buckler intact, and I can't really say that that's the optimum situation for him to be in.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, Mech is all about the timing. You want to usually build it on a hero that can get it very quickly. Your Razor, your Viper, your Enigma. Those heroes that have a lot of farm priority. And he did stop off for Power Treads, which isn't bad by any means, but this is not really that great of a Mech timing. And based off the start that Roger had over Havost, being only 10 CS up, feels like he should be in the lead by a bit more. And this top lane is still uncontested. There's just nobody farming in it right now. Vanscore will move up there and find some free last hits and experience, but it's odd how both teams have pretty much abandoned the top lane.
Yeah, it's kind of a non-factor. Vanscore will use it to get some free experience here and work on maxing out his Ether Shock, finding Serpent Wards, but yeah, it's just, it doesn't seem to be high priority here. Obviously, they didn't care for the Tier 1 tower, or they would have tried to press forward a little bit more, and they were just mostly there to get Havost out of his comfort zone in the first place. So now that they've accomplished that, they're like, okay, well, where else are we going to work? In this case, Havost is working on the Ancients, and trying to contest that against an Earthshaker is nigh impossible. Cleave have to be very careful about how they approach their next ganks.
Yeah, certainly right. And Havost has an interesting mix of items here. A casual Ring of Health, and right now a casual Band of Elven Skin.
Oh my gosh, did you see that? Oh, they still get the Dream Coil.
By Dendi, yeah, I caught the tail end of it. They'll Dream Coil and Doom him, and this should be the end of Dendi. Nowhere for him to go. Perhaps looking for a deny from Funnick. They can't find it. As Funnick TP's in, Vanscore joins the party as well. Shackles out onto Stress. Doom is chopping hard right now. He does have a Satyr inside the belly, and Stress will survive, at least for now. FNG comes in with some stuns, but now even the Rubik joining the party, and FNG will fall. It's a 2-0 in favor of Cleave. Funnick does survive as the Doom tries to dive him, but the damage has been done, and Cleave will find their way into a few more hero kills.
Yeah, so what started out as a little bit of ring around the rosy is now a very nice advantage for Cleave. I would say FNG in particular is really underrating the value of that living armor. It's now being maxed at rank 3, and it prevents Earthshaker from having any real kill potential against the target. Like, obviously, Dendi is going to have multiple sources of damage soon with his ultimate, and the Treants can break through pretty quickly, but FNG is like a 2-3 hit pony, and it's not really going to be enough here.
Yes, sir. And now Havost in the bottom lane, harassing back Roger with a Mystic Snake. FNG could connect with a stun here. There's the totem. Out comes the living armor, but there are reinforcements. Hex comes out. There's your Sprout. Hakan gets caught inside of the shackles. No Doom available anyhow. Roger will be the first to go down. Stone Gaze used, stops everyone dead in their tracks. FNG in too far, and he will fall. It's a 1-for-1 as Navi are on the back foot. Dendi now coming down, but he has no ultimate. He went for this build where he doesn't skill until 9, and he's just 1 creep kill short. Shadow Shaman falls, and now Rubik trying to TP home will get picked off by the Crypt Swarm. That will be enough to get Dendi his ultimate. Ends as a 2-for-2. I feel as if there was an exorcism there, that could have been a completely different fight for Navi.
Yeah, but at least they'll be able to commit the exorcism to the tower if that's what they want to do, and this tier 1 is absolutely guaranteed. So what kind of started out as a greedy lineup when you consider that they have a Medusa and Nature's Prophet, and even the Earthshaker wants some farm, the fact that they can actually try to bring down this tier 1 is pretty huge. But unfortunately, Repel of this, they just don't have enough resources, HP or mana, after the fight.
Yeah, ends up being kind of a wasted exorcism. Not much Dendi is able to do with it. Tower is pretty low, but Roger keeps it safe. He's now pretty close to the mech, just a couple hundred off the recipe. Havost going right back to farming the Ancients here, and is now moved into a Perseverance. I'm thinking this will be a Yasha Lincoln's opener from Medusa, which is fairly standard.
Yeah, there are not a lot of single target spells. Still, Rubik's kind of are the most useless. Like, you can just Fade Bolt him and pop it off. But otherwise, at least you're preventing yourself from being hit by a Leech Seed from a tree that's all too close to you, or maybe even frustrate the Doom a little bit. In either case, Mass Serpent Wards will go down in mid. Stress will be able to tick those down, and we do see actually a steal on Enchant Totem. Not the best skill for Rubik here.
Yeah, not so great. He really doesn't want to run into melee range if he can avoid it, but if he gets Fissure, that is certainly the spell that he was looking for there.
Oh, actually, the melee range totem won't do anything because it doesn't have the passive Aftershock.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. It just gives him the extra damage. Derp. Yeah, good call. So, yeah, even more useless for Rubik than I was initially picturing. Funnick will find himself into a Maelstrom, which is good news for him. Pretty standard stuff on the Nature's Prophet, but he has found a good bit of farm this game. And there's the mech on the Razor. He's that big farmer for Team Cleave, had all of that safe lane farm, and finally has that team fight item that will open up some possibilities for Cleave.
Cryptstorm's a pretty good steal for Rubik, though. It's going to be allowing him to kind of push out the waves as they will, and if they do want to try to actually go for a full tower, or if they just have a long time throughout the team fight, he now has the mana to support it. Early on, pre-Arcane Boots, not the best, but in this situation, it's pretty solid. However, we're going to see Navi make an early move towards Roche, as they do have that Dire advantage, and the Death Prophet ulti is back up.
They move through the trees. There is a Radiant Ward on the other side of the river, but it gives you this weird arc of vision, and Navi did move in through the fog. It seems clear, or pardon me, Cleave are privy to it, and they will come in to contest. Roshan reasonably low. Doom comes out onto FNG. Dream Coil on 4 heroes as the Exorcism is flying through. Treants there with the Overgrowth. That does lock him in place, but where's the follow-up damage? Everyone on Cleave just getting wrecked by this Dendi ultimate. Earthshaker finally falls. Down goes the Shadow Shaman as well, but Cleave now lose to their Treant and their Rubik will both take first-class tickets back to the well. And Navi, will they move back into Roche? Not quite yet. He's at about 50% hit points, and a successful contest from Cleave, and kind of a break-even fight as all 4 supports get picked off.
Yeah. It's good that Cleave were able to prevent Roshan from just going away for free, but all the same, even trades for Navi, since they were fighting from behind previously, is perfectly fine by them. If they can just get Havos to that Linked Sphere, he's going to be feeling pretty good. The Nature's Prophet already has a Maelstrom, which we saw proc a couple times in that fight, and they can just go for Roche once again. There's really nothing holding them back as long as they have either the Mass Serpent Wards or the Exorcism.
Yeah, and with that, Havos just goes back into the Ancients, 1,400 gold up on him. And still just farming away. Exactly what Medusa needs to do. That is a Blink Dagger now out on Stress's Puck. 15 minutes on Power Treads. Not a bad timing. And will open up some more possibilities for Cleave as well. He's also level 11. So that helps. Hakan has also picked up an early Blink Dagger on the Doom. His first core item following the Phase Boots. He did not go for Hand of Midas. So isn't going to be farming too quickly. But will still be able to use Devour to much avail. Right now has a Thunderclap in the old belly. And may actually pick up another Satyr here. Yep, grab Shockwave and another Unholy Aura.
So really, with this lineup, I expected Navi to have towers much sooner, and that kind of shows the current state of affairs. Roche is definitely worth more than a Tier 1 tower, so if they can just take that, that's fine, but they are just dropping down the Treants, the Mass Serpent Wards, and they want it taken down pretty quick. So
this is very sneaky here. There is a Radiant Vision on the high ground, but Furion TP's in, and they put the wards over in the fog at the tree area. So Cleave really have no idea. This is very, very sneaky, and I like it. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Doom comes out onto Dendi before he can ult, and that will secure the kill. In comes the Echo Slam. That'll end the Doom streak, and also secure Roche. It is Nature's Prophet who grabs the Aegis of the Immortal, and while we're looking at that, Vanscourt will fall as Razor comes forward. He will get stunned up. He is in tower range here. Static Link out onto FNG. With that Eye of the Storm doing a lot of damage here, as well as the Living Armor, keeping him alive for now, but Havost coming in, wants to finish him off. He'll find it. A double kill for Havost. He picked off Puck around the backside while we were watching the Roche pit. It is a 2-for-3 exchange. Navi secure the Roche, and they find exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, considering they lost Dendi very quickly in that fight with the Doom, that is actually a really great turn of events. Obviously, like you said, they snuck the Roche through, they push forward, get a lot of kills in return, especially on the core heroes, the Puck and the Razor, and now they get to push in, no problem at all. This Exorcism is up. It's very strong as a pushing tool, but it's also going to, pretty soon, be extremely effective in conjunction with Havos Ultimate. They get Stone Form on maybe 1 or 2 people, those spirits will just tear them apart with the physical damage.
A very good point. Some natural synergy between those two heroes. Those spirits do physical damage. Navi looking to pressure the tier 1 tower mid, that they will back out. I think Dendi is trying to save the ultimate till he hits level 11. It gets so much more effective once you get that extra bout of experience, and he is pretty damn close. So Navi will just bide their time for now. Havost gets his first big item, which is the Lincoln Sphere. And this is the beginning of Medusa starting to come online a little bit. Kind of like the Morphling. You need that first core tanky item, and opens up some possibilities for your mana shield to actually do some work, and you can still get your other rotation off, and gives you that much more survivability. So Medusa is certainly online, and #1 on net worth by a pretty decent margin. 8.2k compared to the 5.8, which of course is the leading farmer, Razor on the Radiant side. Funnick will find a free tier 1 tower as he does a little rat Dota in the top lane, pulls Razor's attention, and he will just back out to safety. Now the rest of Navi pressing forward in the mid lane, looking for a fight perhaps. See FNG fake pump in that fissure, but connects on 2. A lot of damage comes out. Crypt Swarm to finish off the tree, and they'll also get the Rubik as Medusa throws out a Mystic Snake. Nice setup from Navi, and they'll burst down the 2 supports very quickly. This tower should be an easy push. Rasta wards come down. Dendi now level 11 with a double damage in the bottle. He'll hold the ultimate, and they may try and save it for a tier 2. Stress gets caught by a stun, caught by a silence. It's a 3-for-0 trade in the mid lane, and now the Exorcism will be used for this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, they're just crumbling right now. They lose the bottom tier 1, the top tier 1, and now right down through the mid. Navi is seeing weakness in Cleave's lineup right now. They weren't ready to fight at this point in time. They were holding on the high ground, waiting for something to happen, and when it did, they didn't seem prepared at all. So they get caught out. The puck stays for the deny, and that fails as well. Dendi catching out Doom.
Yep, uses that Yules to much avail. Out comes the Sprout, and the Spirits will do the dirty as Doom takes a tumble. Still a little bit of time on this ultimate. They'll go straight for the bottom tier 2. This is going to be 4 towers within about 2 minutes, and we'll look at this graph and just see it plummet in favor of the Dire. Double damage rune on Dendi makes it an easy tower push, and all of a sudden, there's only 1 outer tower remaining for the Radiant side. Roger up top looking for a tower kill. Funnick hoping for a deny, can't find it instead. Will blink back to safety, does not want to get soloed down by this Razor, who has everything off cooldown. That will be the first tower kill of the game for Cleave, so a small pick-me-up, but hard to really look at that as a positive when you factor in the 4 towers that have just fallen.
And now look at Dire's Observer Vision. By being able to just go for that full siege mode, they've not only taken down 5... Did that just happen? 5 towers in like 3 minutes? They've taken out so much of Cleave's map vision, and they've asserted their own. They've dropped down observer wards on the plateau, on the bottom rune spawn. They've had the one in the mid lane. So they're in a great position to just see exactly where Cleave are moving, respond appropriately, whether they want to take the fight or avoid it. And at this point, they're in a commanding position in the game.
Yep. Oh, FNG whiffs the Echo Slam down bottom. And he does get doomed in return. Even a Dream Coil. 2 big ultimates used for just the support Earthshaker. And Navi probably giggling to themselves a little bit here, and they'll be okay with those 2 big ultimates burned and off, stuck on cooldown for a bit longer. Dendi is in no man's land here, buys himself some time with the Yules, looking for another Crypt Swarm, but will fall. Force Staff comes from Vanscore, trying to keep him alive, and now Vanscore may take a tumble as well. Navi running in 1 at a time, and they will be punished. A 3-for-0 trade in the bottom lane as they get a little sloppy.
Yeah, the Earthshaker definitely was a kill that was going to happen no matter what, but Dendi tried to stay for the deny, and that hubris just cost him dearly, as not only he falls, but his buddy Vanscore, the Shadow Shaman, does get taken down as well. Now Havost is going to get stomped on. 2-second stun coming out from the Centaur. Hoof stomp, but FNG answers back with an Enchant Totem of his own.
Oh, it's going to be a turnaround the other way. That'll be the end of the Rubik. Hakan soon to fall. The Living Armor buys him a second, but only seconds. Stress, now Orb over the tree line, will jaunt to it. He does have a TP scroll and a blink. That'll be enough for the elusive Fairy Dragon to make an escape. FNG with the fake pump. That forces out the phase shift. But Roger there with the Eye of the Storm will zone out the Earthshaker. Dendi, race car build online. He's cruising forward. He's hungry for a fight, has the ultimate at the ready. And Yules, Roger, stuck on the wrong side of the fissure. He'll take a silence, gets a living armor, and starting to lay into Dendi with the ultimate. The rest of Navi on the aggressive, ready to follow up Dendi. He's still holding the Exorcism, waiting for them to commit to the fight, and this will be it. There's the silence. Yules comes out. Havost caught inside of the overgrowth. Dendi looking to take a tumble. Nope, he'll survive. Puck falls. Roger now in some trouble as he gets isolated, pops his mech, and he still falls. Double kill now out for Funnick. They'll hop forward. They find themselves old Rubik here. That's a silence and a Sprout. Can they chase him down? There's the fissure. It will hit nothing. Doom on FNG once again. Hoof stomp from Hakan, but he'll get hexed up this time. Shackles to follow up. Crypt Swarm, and he will fall. They get the deny onto Earthshaker. Well played by Havost, and Navi just take the team fight by brute force as they now look towards the tier 3.
Yeah, a lot of play where the allies are trying to save one another, where they just kind of go one by one and really are desperate to keep one another alive, but in the end it costs them more and more. Now the Doom buys back, but the Serpent Wars ecosystem are taking their toll. The tier 3 is going to go down, and all they can do is hold racks.
Yeah, Glyph has already been used. Dendy saved his ultimate that whole time. Hakan hops in looking to grab Dendy, but he'll just get hexed, and it's a dieback. Oh boy, Medusa will fall. That's a wicked 6 streak going to Rubik, but it will cost them their Puck does finish off the Nature's Prophet as well. Another wicked 6 streak. So Cleave do get a cleanup, but they lose their tier 3 tower. They'll get to finish off these wards. Steps in the right direction, but Navi still with a lot of momentum this game. Wow.
Yep, a lot of control. They even drop an observer ward in the enemy base, which gives them more forward vision, and they're going to be able to...
These wards are really badass, by the way. I have not seen these new wards yet, and even this one's got a little bird on his shoulder. That's adorable.
Pretty cool. Yeah, the Night Ward, I think it's called. They renamed it, but that's fan scores for you.
I like it. It's good stuff. So looking at item progression here, Puck is now going into a Necronomicon, an item you don't see pop out on the Fairy Dragon too often, but wants a little bit of pushing prowess, one would assume. And go ahead.
The main thing about that, I think, is the mana burn. You get the mana burn on the melee attack, and the ranged has an active, and that'll burn through Medusa's mana pool so that you can essentially get like free damage on her. Like that's actually mana is so much more important than HP on Medusa in the fights.
Okay. All right, there you go. Some synergy there. The level 1 Necro Book, not too scary, but of course he will level it up. Razor working towards the Ag Scepter, just one piece away, but they'll smoke and walk right into the dire side. FNG with a big dunk to get it started off. There's a Hex onto Roger. Rubik will be the first to go down. Stress does manage to get off his ultimate and does a lot of damage to the supports. And now Havost will take a Doom, but he can stand his ground and go blow for blow with Hakan. Or can he? He's on the back foot, and he will slither his way what he thinks is to safety. Funnick now joining the party as well. Havost is just too damn tanky at this point. He survives the Doom easily. And the Mana Shield online does help out quite a bit. Now the Sprout onto Roger. Dendy with an Exorcism just deployed. That'll finish off the Rubik, or pardon me, the Razor. Now Yule's on Doom. He will be certain to fall, and it looks like it will be a 2-for-4 trade. Puck, the only survivor, and just barely survives with a few hit points to spare.
Yeah. All these back and forth exchanges, it's very hard to avoid the Stone Gaze, and really when you think about it, every member of Navi's lineup adds something in terms of physical damage. Funnick is just going to be naturally right-clicking as a Nature's Prophet. The Earthshaker has his Enchant Totem damage. The Mass Serpent Wards and the Exorcism really just add into it, so anybody that gets singled out for that purpose is in a really bad way, and of course it's just a powerful disable. So they really just force Cleave to either commit to a fight 100% or they're going to get run down, and that makes Navi just that much more potent. With the race car, with now the Blink Earthshaker, 4 staff on the Shadow Shaman, they like to pursue. They like to make sure that when they start a fight, they finish it.
Yes, sir. 15,000 gold, actually a little more than that, soon to be about 17k and 12,000 experience in favor of Navi. Havost has those first 2 core items, the Lincolns and the Manta Style. Where he goes from here is, well, up for debate. Scotty is an okay item on Medusa. What do you think here? All those Ultimate Orb items tend to do pretty well on her.
I kind of feel like if he picked up the Butterfly that he would be almost invulnerable to this team. Like, he has enough HP and mana to work with baseline, but the Butterfly evasion makes sure that the Razor can't even outpace him for a very long period of time, MKB being just not a common build-up on Razor. So that's my opinion, but obviously there are plenty of options. You mentioned the Scotty. We know it's Havost, so why not throw some Divine Rapiers in the pool?
That's very true. And you make a good point about the evasion. There is no natural MKB carrier for Cleave. Razor could make a detour, but now he's gone for Ags. He really wants that refresher. That's the way this build works for best for Razor. And even if he wanted an MKB, he is far off the mark. And there will be a big window of opportunity where Havost will be evading like crazy, as he is just about halfway to the Butterfly, if that's what he's interested in. Also just a great item on Medusa in general. Ups her damage output quite a bit. Dendy in the mid lane. Oh, Thought Stress may jaunt to the orb, but will not. Creep's getting close to that bottom lane, and they'll have to go back to defend this ranged Rax that will start to get chipped upon.
Either way, he's going to be going for damage here. He thought about it for a little bit, standing next to the Secret Shop, and in the end, he does go for our Demon Edge. So no matter the case, he's going to be right-clicking pretty insanely hard, and of course with Max Split Shot, that's going to be the main emphasis. He knows he's pretty tanky with the Lincolns, with the Manta. Those are both very defensive items, but now he wants to really just hit like a truck.
So, of course, I'm looking at the tooltip here. Secondary targets get none. You don't get a chance to crit or anything like that. So, crit is generally not an item you go for on Medusa. That makes me wonder if it's an MKB coming out for him here.
Yeah, it's the same way with Gyrocopter. Is just because there's higher raw damage from the MKB, it's actually a better item for those kind of split mechanics. So I think it's going to be that or the big R word there. We'll see.
Yes, that's for sure. And in terms of I'm trying to think. In terms of the True Strike, that doesn't. Do all of the splits get True Strike or only the main one? Can you still dodge the other split attacks?
See, the way it worked with Gyrocopter, I thought, was that there was no war concern for the secondary shots to even miss. But I learned about a month ago that that's not true, and I really don't know much more about split shot than I do about flat cannon. So
that's a pretty
arguably they
mechanic.
have their own evasion, but I'm not 100% on that.
So I think they have their own evasion. The question is, does the MKB True Strike carry over to those so that they can no longer be evaded? Because they're supposed to not get the unique attack modifier buffs, but that's sort of a weird one. I don't know where the True Strike mechanic comes in. That's a good question for our stats, man. Part of it is also we don't see Medusa very often, so it's not too often you see it in practice where you really have a lot of data to work with. Yeah. Of all the heroes to memorize obscure mechanics, Medusa is pretty low on my list, I have to be honest.
Exactly. Like, I love talking about the hero in theory, but I haven't played this one in months. But we'll see.
In some trouble here. He will get doomed, and he will get dream coiled. He's staying alive for a pretty long time. Support is inbound, but just can't get there in time to keep him alive. Treant came over, and thought he threw an ultimate, but not quite. Havost will buy back. So they want to continue the pushing, and they will go for it, I guess, recognizing the big ultimates are on cooldown. Now the Cleave don't have much to tango with in a team fight. Dendi will pop the ultimate as Akan goes forward. FNG with the dunk, connects on 2. Roger pops the mech. Doom falls. He buys back right away as well. Medusa will grab a kill onto the Treant. And now the rest of the Radiant taking a lot of damage. Dendi falls. He was carrying the Aegis, and he'll come right back up, but of course the Ghosts won't come back with him. And so far, this is an okay hold for Cleave. They will pop their glyph as Havost just starts laying into the barracks. The backdoor protection has been broken, thanks to Cardi here. And more creeps on their way in. Shadow Shaman wards are coming. And ranged racks fall. Melee racks, the only ones left standing. And we could see another fight break out. Havost is ready to fight. And he wants it. Looks like just the racks will fall, and then Navi will back out. Or will they? They go in on distress. He gets hexed up, but Hakan comes in. Big stun with that hoof stomp. Takes some return damage, but he will survive, at least for now. Stone Gaze used. We might find a stun. Ghost Scepter popped by the Rubik, and they find a kill on the Nature's Prophet. Now TPN from the Treant. And there's the Overgrowth. Navi may get punished big here. Remember, Havost just bought back. So if he falls, it will be a long respawn. Stress does get hexed up. He falls. Havost is just so damn tanky. He's taking the damage, and he's going to turn around. The split shot just wrecking the Radiant side. It's a double kill for Havost. He will finally fall to Roger. But Roger stands his ground. Oh, no! Oh, wow. Dendi. He survives, but it's a total cleanup. Funnick just has too much damage laying in the right clicks, and Orchid as well as a Maelstrom. Where did Funnick find all this farm? It's a buyback onto the Razor. But now Navi just go all in for this tier 3. Havost will be stuck in the well for 70 seconds. But that will not stop Navi from commencing the push. Rubik TPs to the outside of the base, pops his Ghost Scepter. Crypt Swarm hits him right in the face, and now he's completely isolated. He'll fall. Roger, it is just him. And if he goes down, this will be a dieback. He gets caught by the Yules. There's a Crypt Swarm. Does have a mech available, but no Eye of the Storm. In comes FNG looking to block him out. There's the Fissure. That'll finish him off. And it's another full team wipe. Cleave running out of options here, Blaze.
Yeah, definitely. This is very difficult. I mean, they brought down Medusa. That was huge because obviously Havost was putting out immense amounts of damage, but Dendi's still huge. Funnick has the top CS. These are still major threats they don't have an answer for. The melee racks are dropping down. The Treant and the Puck are going to try to make their stand, but can they hold it?
Overgrowth comes out, but the melee racks have already gone down. Exorcism deployed. Dendi will use the Yules to buy himself some time. Another dunk from FNG. That secures the kill on the Doom. He has no buyback available. The mid lane of racks will get completely cleaned up. And even if Navi don't push for the win here, they have done crippling damage. And we could very well be moments from a GG. 25,000 gold, 20,000 experience. And they press forward. Puck almost dies, makes it back to the well. A stolen Fissure isolates FNG. Unfortunately, Cleave just don't have any follow-up damage. Their big hard hitters are down. They'll go straight for the tier 4s, and that's the GG from Cleave. What a chaotic way for this game to end here, Blaze.
Very much so. It's like, even when the fight was going in favor of one of the teams, there was still enough damage available that the losing team would still be finding kills left and right and forcing buybacks as a result, because if there's even a couple of members of Navi's roster inside your base, they all have great pushing tools, and they're all very real threats you have to deal with. So in the end, Cleave just runs out of cash, runs out of buybacks, and they can't hold the line. And Navi take it away. A very difficult game to begin with, but towards the mid game, they really hit their stride.
Yeah, and Havost had a very rocky start, as we saw. He was the victim of the first blood, but he came back in driving force, found some vengeance, found a lot of farm in the bottom lane against the Doom. And that was about it. I was a little worried for Navi at the very beginning as they got off to that slow start, but they recovered, and it ended up being a pretty fun game. That's it for our coverage today, though, Blaze. No upsets. Today was the day of underdogs. A lot of the big teams facing off against the lower-seeded teams. No big upsets, and when we move into the next day of EU coverage coming up tomorrow, Blaze won't be joining me, but it's always a pleasure, my friend. Make sure you follow him on Twitter, @BlazeCasting. I'm @ZioriTV, and @Beyond the Summit as well. That's it. We're about to get out of here, though. Any final thoughts here, Blaze?
Well, I mean, we got some great matches coming up, so I hope you guys stay tuned. Also, check out the teespring.com/BTS Chroma.
Yes!
That's the T-shirt that they have set up with Teespring, and
we
you actually only have a little bit of time left for it.
Yeah, they're shipping, but this is it. After that day, this is it. They're never going to be printed again, so if you want one, now is the time, and feel free to help yourself. They ship internationally, though it is notably expensive. The domestic shipping is really where it's at. So that's it for us today. We have big games coming up tomorrow, and of course I don't have my schedule open in front of me, but is it the Navi Tinker game, and then I think there's a Navi Cloud9 game. So two big ones that y'all will definitely want to tune in for tomorrow. But until then, we're done for the day. See you tomorrow.